Welcome, listener, to the Grief Burrito podcast. I am your space transmuted host, Harrison Wild.
And I am your alien prison god, Yum Yusto, Jordan.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about our experience playing this month's game, Another World, and how this game was made by a one-man team. Let's start at the particle accelerator.
Getting struck with lightning. Ka-chow? Ka-chow's the cars thing, right?
Ka-chow, that's the right noise, yeah. And then we're going to be transported to Another World. Woo!
We're back from our lovely little break.
And we're entering our brand new season of the show. And to kick it off, we're beginning our Alpha Buratic Burrito Classic, which was a name came up by Jordan. Well done.
Thank you. The worst thing about that is, because we had the conversation, and it rolls off the tongue much better if you say Alpha Buratic Burrito McClassic.
It does.
And now I can't stop saying McClassic when I think about it.
That's about the trademark.
We're not sponsored by McDonald's. However, if
we could be.
Get on to this. The goal of these episodes is to cover games going from A to Z, hence the Alpha Buratic. I don't think that's actually a word, but you know, it's fine. So we'll do that, and we'll loop all the way back to A. So we go A, Z, and then to A again. I don't know why I'm explaining this really basic thing.
I don't know. I mean, what about B, C, D? You just want A, Z. So we can do Another World, then Zelda.
Another World, Zool. I can't think of another game beginning with A. And then we're not doing any funky characters. Because I guarantee someone would ask, and I'd have to explain no.
What would be funky characters? Do you mean like?
I don't know, like
R's a bit suspicious.
R's super sus. I don't know. Q is just a backwards P.
It is, yeah. Well, it's got a little tail. It's a furry Q. It's got a tail. It wears a
furry Q. It's a furry. Wow. Did you know J and I used to be the same character in Old English?
Really?
Weird. Yeah, we just didn't have a J. They were just like, F it. just had an I, and that did both. We're getting off track already.
We are already. It's good to be back.
I meant like fucking accented characters. I don't know, umlauts.
Yeah, okay. If you want to suggest a game for us to experience, you can send it into any of our socials. At Grief Burrito.
Grief Burrito. Sorry, I stopped looking at the thing.
On our emails.
At griefburrito@gmail.com. I put the at in the wrong place. I feel like a right TW at.
So our email is griefburrito@gmail.com now. You'll find that there. Or you can join our Discord using the link below, where you can join us for weekly chats and game nights.
Shades off.
You're taking the shades off? Okay, I'll put mine up.
I can see.
I know, it's much easier, isn't it? And you can also message us directly like the wonderful Elijah did from griefburrito.com to suggest some games. So shout out to you, dude. Thank you for your message.
Thank you. World's too bright. Sunglasses back. I know. I've ruined it for myself. Next message. And if you want to support the show and you can tell that this time off has not helped us at all with the preparations and shit. And if you want to support the show and get some behind the scenes extras, you can do that on patreon.com/Grief Burrito, all one word.
All one word. You can do indeed. So let's do it. Let's get into this.
Burrito Classic. Let's begin starting with the letter A.
As our alphabet do. Let's do it.
Yes. Our alphabet starts at C, apparently.
So our first game is Another World, which was released in the fine year of 1991, as I was. I was also released that year, on the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga. Jordan, please explain, in the highest of effort, in your most exciting space adventure voice, the gist of this game.
I don't know what one of those is. Let's go with this. Lester doing space, etc. Our science boy Lester, after pulling up in his sweet Ferrari 288 GTO, decides to kick back with some particle acceleration. No doubt opening a nice, cool, refreshing can of Tab. Only for lightning to strike and cause his experiment to go awry and transport him to a dangerous alien planet, also known as Another World. As he escapes ferocious beasts and strange knee-scratching leeches, he's captured by the planet's humanoid potato men, and imprisoned. What will our intrepid adventurer do, Harrison?
Who knows?
But when... Would you like me to continue?
Continue, please, the description.
But when he manages to escape with another imprisoned potato man known as Buddy, they both must solve puzzles and fight their way to freedom. Huzzah!
Buddy!
Buddy!
Well, yes. So let's get straight into our experience
Called
with
my
the
virgin.
game.
Fuck off.
Go away, Virgin. We're recording. This is the Burrito podcast. So now we know a little bit about the game. Let's talk about our first experiences with the game.
Okay.
So I have a bit of a strange one starting this game. I think we've mentioned it before, but if any listeners don't know about this, my first introduction was finding a Sega Mega Drive in my grandma's house with this game. No idea where it came from. Don't know why my grandma was a Sega head and not a Nintendo head. Big gamer. Gamer moment. Old gamer moments.
Epic old gamer moment. Epic OAP gamer moment.
OAP gamer moments. I need a sting. No, I know I have to make the animation. Shit! Okay. So, and I borrowed it. I can't remember whether I asked or not. I think I just took it. I stole it. And I started playing through it. And I never really got much further than getting out of the cage in that first area in the cave, because it is very, very difficult. And this new play, I went through on Twitch. Here's a clip of someone who looks suspiciously like me losing their absolute shit over it, because it was very difficult. And you can see highlights on our YouTube channel as well, which is Grief Burrito Gamer, or on the full stream channel, which is Grief Burrito XL. If you want everything unedited, that's there for you too. So many channels. This game is hard. You die fast. You die a lot. But I was constantly surprised how much you could do. Like, what did you think? What was your first experience with it?
It is crazy unclear at all points, and I think that lends well to whatever that game is. Because it feels more like you're playing a TV show than a game. You know what I mean?
It's very cinematic. Yeah, it is.
And it's stupidly hard, especially with the controllers being as... The controls in it are just weird because they're so unresponsive.
They really are. Yeah, you have to... You're expected to react so quickly. Like when you're running away from the water in the cave, for example. Here's a picture of Jordan's face that I snapped while he was gaming. I'll put that on screen for the YouTube viewers. The snap reaction you have to cross a screen boundary and then instantly jump over holes is so hard. But
it is.
It made me want to do it. It got me to that level of frustrated where you're like, I have to do this. Like I'm less of a person, less of a gamer if I don't manage to get through this.
Exactly. It is. There's certain points where you're running from like left to right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you're like, right, I've got to keep running because that's what the game wants me to do. And then you just get fucking obliterated on the next screen. It's like, I don't understand. What are we meant to do?
It's so
There's
so
no
hard.
way you meant. It's all trial and error, and it actually works. Like the game. Do you know how long the game's meant to take you to complete if you know what you're doing?
How long?
Like 20 minutes.
Really? That quick?
I watched a guy speedrun it in 10 minutes.
Holy crap, man.
But it took me an hour and a half, and I had like hints off of it. Well, a few hints, not many, off of our good friend Mihai.
Yes.
How long did it take you?
I did a stream of, I think it was about 3 hours. So I was doing it on my own on stream at first and struggling my way through it and getting very frustrated because I was checking the chat while I was doing it, talking to people. And then Mike did pop into my stream as well, and he helped along. Mike is a godsend. He's such a great person to have helping you through a game. Yeah, so it was good fun, but it took me two full streams, I think it was, of about an hour and a half each, something like that.
Yeah, fair play.
But once you get through sections that are particularly hard, you've died that many times, you build like a muscle memory of being able to like jump over those holes or get away from certain things. And I found myself being able to do sections very, very easy if I died and had to go back to them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think once you get used to the timings of the button presses and stuff, it becomes much easier. There are things you think will kill you which don't, which is kind of weird. And it's like being like a pixel away from this like ground grabby thing Sunglasses on.
On, we're back after a panic of
Podcast
thinking
on.
we'd lost the audio, but no, it's fine.
Everything is okay.
Everything
Yeah,
is A-okay.
I forgot what to say. Something about the ground things that eat you, and you've got like a few pixels of like, am I fine? Am I not? This looks terrible, but everything was
The
fine
gross
in
little
the end.
sarlacc pit things that like
Yeah.
open and that must have been a horrible sound for people's headphones. Sorry about that. But yeah, yeah, they were horrible. I hated them, and the animations of death I also found were very expressive.
They're really good. Like
Really are.
overall, I think the art direction it looks almost like papercraft.
It does, yeah. It
If
really
you're playing
does.
in like, so just for clarity here, we played the 20th anniversary
Anniversary.
20th anniversary version of this game. So you did have the option of going between the old style graphics and the new style. I changed to the old style and immediately went, nah. Went
Really,
straight
you went back? Oh, I
Hell
actually
yeah.
prefer the old one.
No, I like it's a bit of a barren game in places, but overall
Yeah.
it's like it looks quite nice. All the stuff fits really well. Like I was a big fan of the art style.
Oh
And the
yeah, the
sound
whole
design
art
too.
direction was brilliant. The fact that it's all done by Éric Chahi on his own as well is
What a guy.
so impressive. And he was only like 19 at the time when he made this.
What an absolute lad.
What a lad! A French
What a-
lad, a lad.
Allude.
Hello there. That's probably some offensive word. I'm sorry if we offended anyone.
A la franche.
Yeah, the flanche.
I swear we've just said something horrible.
Yeah, I know. Just bleep all of that. Editor,
Yeah.
bleep it. It's fine. Were there any moments that gave you any pause or real trouble? Because I definitely had a few. The cave, in specifically.
I was fine with the cave. The cave was fine, but there was a bit where I didn't realize. Like I saw the little rock guy or whatever he was, Potato Man, our friend Buddy. But wait, should we explain? Buddy's like a friendly bad guy in this.
Yeah,
who's like imprisoned with you. And
yeah, he's
it's
in a
whole
cage, isn't he?
thing.
And you get out. Yeah.
And so there's a bit where he's crawling through a grate or like an air duct. And I was like, oh, cool, Buddy's here. And I just fucking ran past, like, whatever.
Oh, really?
I proceeded to do the rest of the level, which I got to, like, the end point where he's meant to help you. And I was there, and I must have killed, like, 15 of these bad guys. Just fucking mowing them down. And they just, like, Mike was sat there watching. I was like, what the, Mike? I've killed so many. I'm genociding this fucking race.
It's gonna be no planet left.
And I just, it wasn't working. And then I found out I had to go back and, like, shoot a chandelier that was holding this grate together.
Yeah, that's right. That was very... I don't know, that was very cryptic to do. There's moments where you're expected to know things that are just
Yeah.
like...
I will tell you, my experience is if I see something that looks vaguely out of place, I just shot it.
I'm just
Like,
gonna shoot it, yeah.
That ball looks semi-destructible.
Well,
I'll
see,
give it a go.
that's the difference between games now and games back then, isn't it? Because like now I
Look at this
didn't
lovely
shoot any of that.
architecture. I can't shoot this.
Yeah, well, I'm so used to seeing games that are filled with things that just because there is something in a room, I don't expect to shoot it. Whereas in old games, if something is unusual in a room, it's not always just going to be like an architectural interest. It's going to be something you're expected to interact with.
Everything's
like with
functional.
like the red bird thing in the cave that has to fly across to distract the tentacle things that eats it so you can jump across and not get eaten. Like that's clever. Like that's a cool little puzzle mechanic that you're sort of expected to figure out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with those games, isn't it? There's so little space within the cartridge or within the files or whatever.
Yeah,
when you're making it, everything has a purpose.
It
Like
does. It does.
everything.
This game, I from what I read, I think the cartridge was 1.4 megabytes in total.
Wow. Have you seen that thing for Mario where it's like, how big was Super Mario, like the original Mario game?
Oh, it was like, I'm sure it was kilobytes. It was like 256 kilobytes or something.
Yeah, and then someone's got like Super Mario's 256 kilobytes. This image of a screenshot from the game is like 3 meg. It's like, fucking how?
That whole image on Google is bigger than the entire game, yeah. I think we should probably get into talking about how the game was made then, seeing as we're like gradually getting into like its memory usage. Let's talk about the game itself.
Hell yeah.
So the game, as I mentioned, was released in 1991 for the Amiga and the Atari ST, but eventually made its way onto the Sega, the SNES, and many, many more as it grew in popularity. It's been on every console pretty much, I think. It's even on the Switch to this day. They've just kept releasing it.
I think I've only heard of it once, which was through Game Grumps, yeah.
Yeah, because they had a series, didn't they? They played it on it.
That was it. I watched like a bit of it, and I was like, "Oh, funny, Macaruba, yeah,
Macaroobs, yeah." That is a very good series.
But that was all I'd heard about it. And obviously, seeing it now and playing through it, I can completely see where a lot of inspirations for were taken for other games, like Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, massively.
You can totally see like the foreground and background thing, and you can definitely see where they've taken inspiration from that, which is amazing.
You really can. Like, the game has become a monument within itself. Like, it's been a jumping off point for loads of games. Like you said about Abe's Odyssey, and even Hideo Kojima stated that it's one of his 5 biggest inspirations on his work to this date, which obviously explains why his games are so weird, that he's taking it from this kind of stuff. And keeping in like cryptic nature, because he's known for having very cryptic games, isn't he?
Yeah.
Even to stuff like PT, where you're expected to know stuff about whispering into the microphone to get the ghost. Like, why would you even try that?
Show me the sink, baby.
Show me the baby again.
I want to see the sink fetus now. So please don't clip that.
No, I'm going to. It's going to be in the next advert that I release.
Show me the sink fetus. Grant me the sink fetus.
Grant me. Dangling about, whapping it. Oh. So, let's talk about the game. So, Éric Chahi describes the game as digital performance. He said it's more like art, which is a really weird comment to say about this, but I can kind of understand where he's coming from. And as I mentioned before, I find it insane that the game can hold not only the game itself in its tiny memory, but also all the cutscenes that you have. Because I can't think of any other game from this age that even has anything remotely like cutscenes.
No, not at all. I suppose they are all quite simple.
They are simplistic.
The most complex one, I'd imagine, is when you're in the giant Colosseum and you got a tank.
Oh yeah, I mean that's so there's a cutscene going on while you're playing.
Yeah, but the cool thing is even when you're doing that, all that's happening is you see Lester. It is Lester, isn't it?
Lester, yeah.
Yeah, you see Lester going up into the crow's nest of the tank thing, but it's just the colours fading over it.
That's right.
So
yeah,
there isn't a huge amount of complexity going into it, which is the thing that amazes me about this game is how grand it feels despite taking 20 minutes to beat.
Yeah, it feels like another world. It's so well made that it just feels encapsulated as another place. It's so consistent in what it does.
And it does give you that feeling of there's no explanation. So it does feel like you've just been thrown onto this planet and you're figuring it all out.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what any of this stuff is and means.
No. Why does this gun make a shield?
Why does it also make a plasma beam?
Yeah. A Kamehameha, apparently. It's inspired by Dragon Ball Z, he said.
Is it actually?
Yeah, he said he was watching that at the time, yeah. I mean, the cutscene that I thought was really, really cool was the intro one, where he pulls up in his Ferrari and walks in and closes the door, gets his can, sits down to do some acceleration.
He's way too cool to be a scientist.
I know. And how has he got a Ferrari?
I know. He's a theoretical physicist, and he's raking it in. Well, I guess you can skim a little off the top if you've got a fucking particle accelerator.
I guess, yeah.
A little bit of dividends.
I mean, knowing him, he might have built it. He might have built it himself.
I am the creator of Ferrari, and also science.
Science, man.
I did science the other day.
Whoa. Oh, you did, yeah. You did do science.
I was part of a science. I was part of a science. Oh, mate, honestly, it was pretty cool. I'm distracting away from the episode, but it's I had to do a science, and I had to help with looking at some photogrammetry and saying how I think and feel about it and explaining things out loud.
Oh, it was photogrammetry you looked at?
Yeah, about how cultural items something. I stopped listening.
Obviously, the science went well.
No, it went really well, but it was good because working on the podcast, I can think out loud quite easily because of what we do. which is quite nice. So I think they were appreciative.
We can talk enough until something sounds like it makes sense.
Exactly. If you throw enough words together, man, it's going to make some form of sense.
Someone's going to like it on the internet.
Science! Yeah, let's go.
So with a bit of science talk there, we're going to talk about how this was actually done, because I found it massively fascinating. It was a device called the Genlock. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, so it's a little box that almost looks like a guitar pedal. That was what struck me first about it.
Okay.
And it lets you composite polygons on top of footage, which actually allowed him to rotoscope real footage that he'd recorded. So rotoscoping, if any of you guys listening or watching don't know what it is, it's what filmmakers did in the early days of film to do special effects. So think like the lightsaber glowing effect over the top of actual film footage, whether it was drawn on, cut out, or like in 2001 when they had the spaceships in space, that's all rotoscoping. Old TV stations apparently used it as well. So when they're doing like live footage for news, and I think, and this is a blast from the past, this is showing how old I am, and if Jordan might remember it too, teletext. Do you remember teletext?
Oh, teletext. I never used it. I just remember seeing it and being like, this is terrible.
It was a weird concept of a TV channel where essentially it was just like really shit colours in really crap graphics on the screen where you could... My mum used to book holidays on it, my brother reminded me the other day.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and you could check the lottery numbers. I remember that.
That's it. I'm glad it's dead.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
is there
we
a
should try
website
and hack
for it?
Maybe. I'll if I can find anything, I'll stick it on screen while we've been talking about it, because it's an interesting concept that I don't think's even used anymore.
No, I'm wondering if there is like a website where people have like emulated it so you can see what it'll look like if you're young and you don't know what teletext is.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
I imagine a lot of our listeners probably won't have any idea what teletext is. I know a lot of our listeners are like around our age, like around 30, so they might remember it, but it was sort of going out when I was a kid, so they may have no concept of it whatsoever.
On its way out, taken behind the shed.
Yeah. Come on, Lenny, let's go for a walk.
Old Yeller mixed with mice and men.
Yeah.
What happened to Lenny? He got rabies. I don't know.
Something like that. He bit a rabbit or something. He shot him.
He bit a rabbit. He got rabies. Yeah. And then Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, then the escape from prison.
Mix all this shit in. The Green Mile.
Yeah, he had Jesus powers, and then he got put in the electric chair. Who knows?
The end.
And everyone lived happily ever after.
And then Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he just run. And then Lenny got his leg braces off. And then his girlfriend died of AIDS. Is that what happens? I think that's what happens, right?
I think you're summarising quite a lot, but you basically got it.
I think we've just like spoiled about 10 80s classics in about 3 sentences. Sorry, anyone who hasn't seen these films, I guess.
I think if a film's been out for like, 80s was 40 years ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, The Lord of the Rings came out 20 years ago.
I
know.
If a film's been out for 20 years, you can't really spoil it, can you?
I don't know. I think there's still some things that you shouldn't. I firmly stand by going into a film blind, having not known anything, especially after seeing Spider-Man Far From Home. Sorry to diverge a moment from our game podcast, because we do talk about films as well sometimes, if this is your first time listening. But that going into that film without having seen any trailers, not reading anything, avoiding all spoilers, was literally the best cinematic moment of 2020 and 2021, easily.
Yeah, I did that. I didn't hear anything. I obviously knew what was happening with the film itself.
Yeah.
But I had no spoilers or anything, and it was so good.
Such
a
good movie.
Good.
I might go see it again tomorrow, actually, because it's still on in my town. So I might go see it again. If my heart can take it. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a good film.
It is. It's very good. So let's talk about vector graphics. So this means that our boy Chahi, he could use real-time data to resize the polygons on the screen, which is why it had such cool animations for like jumping, running, the combat with the monsters and aliens. And it only had 2 basic functions when making these kind of vector graphics on the screen. He could draw lines between 2 vector points or more vector points to make a shape, so he could have a line drawing, kind of like how asteroids used to look. Okay. Except it was so advanced. He had one more tool, Jordan. It was that handy fill paint bucket, which meant he could fill shapes.
He could fill. Who's Phil?
He could fill. Chahi Philip. I don't know his last name. Chahi is his last name. Éric Philip Chahi.
He could fill. Phil.
Phil. the game actually works with a huge 320 by 320 pixel screen.
Damn.
And boasts a momentous 16 colours on screen all at once. No holds barred. Okay?
I will tell you the little gripe I have with this game.
Tell me.
20th anniversary doesn't go up to 4K.
Really? Did it just
Yeah,
go
I
up to
had
1080?
I had to play it windowed in like 1080. I was like some kind of fucking peasant.
No way. So I have only got a 1080 TV that I played mine on, so I didn't know that. Mine was just full screen as standard.
I'm upset.
You should have a CRT TV always ready to play some retro games.
Oh man, I might try and buy a CRT TV. CRT TV.
V. Shout out to Craig. I'm sure you remember that hiccup.
Did we do the same with Jessica on paper as well?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then you shouted at me for leaving.
Yeah, because you didn't back me up. You didn't finish my rhymes.
I thought you were just doing weird things as usual.
I thought you were just being usual freaky deaky self.
Harrison's being a freak again.
Set the timer.
Quick, record the episode. We've got 40 minutes before he starts again.
Okay, where were we up to? So, most games of this complexity would have only 50 polygons on screen at any one time because of the color limitations. So, you could only have 16 colors if you had 320 by 320 pixels. If you wanted any more resolution than that, or any less layers, you had to drop the color down. Now, where Chahi was particularly clever, he was a clever little sausage, because he actually had 981 polygons in the opening scene alone when you're climbing from the water, according to one study. And this is because the dramatic scenery of the world that is another is built from 4 layers. So you had the very far background plane, you had a plane in front of that, you had the level plane, which obviously you're walking on, and then you had the characters moving around on the foreground and anything that would be animated and interacted. And this meant that you could draw the background plane only once to save on memory, which is a clever, clever way to do it. And this is why he could get a blistering 25 frames per second. And actually on the PAL region, we only had 20, but everywhere else had 25. I don't know why the PAL region was limited. I don't know if it's because of our Hertz channel is different, because it was 50 Hertz before, and now
the
we're on
lack of those
60.
5 frames definitely hurts.
It does hurts. It hurts indeed.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was very, very bad. And you'll notice that there's actually particles floating in the air as well. I don't know a game this old that also has particle effects like that. Just like dust floating in the wind. Chahi actually used a code processor.
So poetic.
So poetic. I don't even know. What did I say? I don't even know what was
dust
poetic.
Floating in the wind.
Pixelated. I can feel the sharp wind. So he actually created wind, because I imagined it as squares, like little sharp pixels.
Yeah, it's all pointy, getting hit by fucking Lego bricks.
Exactly. Yeah, that is another world. Lego in the wind, and he made his own engine to do this as well, which is why it was so special. And he made his own coding editor called GFA Basic to make this game.
He made a comment that it only took 6 days to create Earth. The game took him 2 years.
That's a poem.
Another World took me 2 years, yeah. So he realised 17 months into making the game that he was only a third of the way through.
Oh, wow.
So he had to crunch like hell just to get it out. He didn't really have much playtesting done. These are all just things that I've got saying. So he didn't do much playtesting. So Interplay, the publishers behind the Fallout games, the initial ones, were the first ones to do a full playtest for it.
Holy crap. I did not know that. I did not come across that fact at all through my trawling.
And then the music for the game was created by composer Jean-Francois Freitas. I don't know why I said it in like a fucking
That's
Italian
like a Russian accent.
Yeah. Jean-Francois Freitas. I don't know what all these are.
I mean, that's a very French name. I'm not surprised that you struggled with that one.
French.
That might be the most French name I've ever seen.
And the music was also released on CD and vinyl by Black Screen Records in 2017.
Very cool.
And Black Screen have also done the releases for other video game soundtracks such as Coffee Talk, Risk of Rain, and Hyperlight Drifter.
Wow, they've got quite a back catalogue of soundtracks, haven't they? 'Cause
Yeah,
they're three that are particularly known.
They reprint them, yeah. So it's I've got the Coffee Talk one, and then they've got a bunch of the ones that I kind of wanted, but at the time I could not afford. They sell out so fast, it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, because they're like collector's items, aren't they? People want little pieces of history, especially from games like this. Like, this is a game that easily stands up as one of the most iconic, I think. It's like the original indie game.
Yeah, I think OneUp.com, they put Another World at number 99 of their most essential video games of all time list.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah.
That's
high. Yeah, that's high out of every video game ever.
Yeah, because they're obviously still going. I mean, I've got a reference here for you. Like, this was, where was it now? In 2012, it became one of the first 14 titles added to the video game art exposition. I'll say that again. 14 titles added to the video game art exposition at the Museum of Modern Art.
Do you say exposition?
I think I said exposition. Basel Exposition. Expo.
Okay, Expo.
Yeah, the Modern Art Expo at the Oh my God, send help! I quit.
Brain thoughts, words. That's pretty amazing. Like, again, the art direction in this is like flawless. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
like,
it really, really is good.
It'd be, if this game didn't have the art direction it had, or like the design it had, it'd be shit. It'd be pretty poor.
It would be interesting to see how this game changed if it was made by a team as opposed to one person. Because this is like when you get a visionary director for cinema, where, you know, someone is it an auteur? Is that the word? An auteur?
I think you're mispronouncing the word author there, Harrison.
Author? No, Jordan, it's a word.
Sorry. I recognize the word, but I don't know what it means.
There's a particular word where it means like the director has full control. So they're not only the director, they're the writer, they're the producer. Like, they do everything themselves because their vision of having this film in a certain way is so important at getting it across. Kind of like Stanley Kubrick. And you just describe Kubrick as that because his films had a very specific feeling that it was very Kubrickian. It's like that's become a term because it was made in such a way.
That sounds like something that you'd say if you found the monolith from 2001. Yeah, it's very Kubrickian.
It is
like an alien race.
It's a cube brick. Ian.
Kubrickian.
I'm talking to Ian.
Lego come in and they're just like, whoa, that's our word. That's sick. Where are we going with this episode?
God knows. This will all probably be cut. So as a game that comes from an era when most games were still about arcade scores, I think this one is insanely impressive for having such a narrative style and a visual style. And I was really, really impressed with the escape section towards the end. I did not expect such an exciting like climax to like you'd get in the elevator, you run up, you go up through that little cutscene where you come into the tank, and then you're out into the Colosseum, and you let that weird big black beast thing go, and everyone's running about, and it's chaos. I was like, oh my God! I was so excited.
Mental. It just comes out of nowhere.
It does.
You're just like, right, we're slowly just trying to survive, and then he's like, fuck this, get in the tank.
We've got to go.
What? And then you crash into a bathhouse, and there's all these naked alien potato women.
There's
and then you run past, and you
cracks.
kill like 4 people, and then you keep running, and then you get the floor gets blown up, and then you drop, and then you get caught by an evil one, and then it fucking throws you against a wall, and you guys are like, ugh. And then you
get kicked.
You get kicked, they get into a fight, you and your buddy get into a fight, and then you fucking call down a laser beam, and then you go away. And it's
this sounds like you're rambling and making it up.
It does.
But
it
listeners, this is
sounds like I'm fucking making this shit up. Genuinely, there is a fight between these two people, and then you press a button and a laser beam comes down. Then you got to crawl across the ground to go into a lift. And then there's a guy shimmying across the bottom of the screen. And then he picks you up, puts you on a giant dinosaur bird, and then you fly away. And
you fly up into the sunset. And that's the end. And the nice thing about that is it leaves it open. And Chahi said that he didn't want to make a sequel. He'd been asked to do so. And there actually is a sequel where you play as Buddy. It's called Heart of the Alien.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really cool. I was hoping it was going to be in the bonus section of the 20th anniversary edition, but it's actually not, unfortunately. But I might get hold of it, so look out for that because I might play that next. Yeah. We've got to rate this. So we're going to decide whether this goes into our Alpha Buratic Burrito Classic section.
You nearly said McClassic, didn't you?
I nearly said McClassic. It was really hard not to. So, Jordan, it's the moment of truth. Is this game an ABC?
It can't not be, can it?
Has to be. Has to be.
I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing it, even though Mike witnessed me just being like, "What the fuck is fuck?"
Again, see Jordan's face on the screen.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
It was. I felt like I lost my mind playing this game.
Same. I lost my mind momentarily, and then found it again, and then lost it again. Like I'm glad that I ended up playing it, and thankfully it is so short. I was concerned that if you look online, it does say it takes about 2 hours to beat. So I was expecting a slightly longer game. No, it's just how difficult it is.
Yeah, I think it's a benefit for how short it is. It's short and sweet and cinematic. I love that there's no HUD, that there's no dialogue, and that you just have to work out what you do. I think it pays massive dividends for it. I can't imagine going back and replaying it too often. I'll say that. I think it's a game that I might revisit again in the future just to sort of experience it again as a piece of gaming history. It's actually a fun challenge. It drove me mad, like I said, but it's fair. You get punished for not reacting fast enough. Even if it expects you to react a little fast sometimes, it's still your fault for not reacting. So
those commando ones are cracked to fuck. They're so cracked. It's like you're walking to a room and it's just like, you're dead.
Yeah, they just shoot you. Like, I've got clips of me having to react so fast.
You put up a shield and they're just like, nice shield you have there. And then they just fucking walk through it and kill you. Like, how the fuck am I meant to do this?
It's so funny when they grab you and just beat the crap out of you on the floor. The little slap sounds like...
I did that where I was like, I ran through, got caught, and they just started punching the shit out of me. And I was like, I need to see this again.
Gotta go back, enhance, and like zoom in.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, I think all gamers should play this just to see the legacy of it, and just because you can see where so many developers had been inspired by the legacy that the game has. I'm gonna leave it there. I think I'm happy to put this in the classic section.
Classic AF, magnifique.
French kiss.
French kiss. Chef's kiss.
French chef's kiss.
French kiss? Like that? What? That's not at all what that is.
With tongue mouth. With tongue mouth? With open mouth. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
That's fine.
Yeah. Are you happy? Are you happy with that, Jordan?
I am very much happy with that.
Give me a big smile with those shades. Grin into the camera. There we go. What a beautiful boy.
That's not a smile.
Thank you, everyone, so much for coming back to us after our break through January. It is great to be back. This has been wonderful fun. It's flown by. And thanks for all the support along the way to our new channels, the Grief Burrito Gamer channel, the Grief Burrito XL, and the secret project that's coming soon, the F-Bow. The F is silent, just say bow. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and leave us a little comment below of just how great Buddy is, because he should be ranked so high on the best companions through games. I think we may have to do a companion rating episode in the future. If you'd like to see that, let me know. And we'll do that. Jordan, where can they find you?
They can find me at the Mr. John Core on Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at HasWild, and you can find the podcast everywhere at Grief Burrito. Jordan, shall we go?
Farewell.
To another world!
Oh, that was accidental. We didn't plan that.